Hey, good evening. Happy Monday night. Happy post Browns win Monday night.
Victory
This
Monday.
is Illegal Formation Reacts, and we got some stuff to react to. I'm your host. I'm Chad Bryan. I got my co-host TK Dandridge with me. TK, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Chad? Just enjoying a pretty quiet Monday night. Watching the first game of the Monday night doubleheader right now. So
Yeah. All right.
enjoying myself right now.
There you go. How you feeling after this? We don't get to say this very often. How you feeling after a Browns win, TK? A Browns win. It starts with a W. Win. You remember that word? I forgot what that word was.
Been a
But
while
how you
since we
feeling,
heard
man?
but yeah, I feel okay. Definitely something that we needed. I definitely think this was a win that was needed for the soul, for the mind, for peace of mind, for this franchise and for the fans of it.
Yeah.
Not something that you want to harp on too long because we know that Miami, along with us, is one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they are an absolute mess right now. Organizationally, the personnel has gone down. Tyreek Hill was a big injury. I think they lost Jaden Waddle during the game on Sunday. So, yeah, not too much to be that excited about. Granted, we did look solid. We looked like a functional offense. I was very glad to see that they ran the ball a lot. You don't want to be swinging the rock around the yard during 50, 60-mile winds, and it's extremely wet. And your offensive line is still. This is the sixth different offensive line combination that you've had. You still got a young quarterback that's still trying to get acclimated. There's a lot of things that you didn't want to risk on Sunday, and I'm glad that they didn't, and they came away with a very sound win. But I'm ready to get out of New England.
Yeah, 31-6 left kept the Dolphins out of the end zone. And really, I mean, I think you just don't want to be slinging the rock around the yard when you've got a rookie quarterback and a bunch of receivers that can't catch the football. I mean,
Part.
we talked about, maybe not having Dylan Gabriel drop back 60 or 70 times, and it hasn't been that bad, but it's been pretty close. He dropped back 58 times in that game 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, 18 pass attempts, 13 of 18 for 116 yards. I think he threw probably a couple of, I guess, questionable balls, right? That maybe could have been picked. They weren't, but everyone says he's holding on to the football. He's not, taking many risks. Well, I think he's just not getting caught on those risks quite yet. So, I mean, I think you said it best. Nothing to get too excited about. It is a win. It feels good. It's nice. It's better than losing to the Dolphins because that would have been terrible. Listen, the Browns have some winnable games coming up, and I'm at the point in the season at 2-5 where I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, TK, because the win's good for the soul. It's good for the heart. It's good for the eyes. You like to go out and see your team play well and win, but it's not really good for draft status, right? Especially when you got Jacksonville playing above their heads right now. They did lose Sunday in London, but they're 4-3. Probably not exactly what we expected out of Jacksonville after last season. I would have expected maybe after 7 games for them to be 2-5 with us right now. That's not the case. So if the Browns start winning these winnable games, Raiders, Jets, boy, I hope they don't lose to the Jets. I mean, it's one thing to beat the Dolphins, but now you got to go back this up in a couple of weeks and beat the Jets, right? Like you got to get that done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't lose to the Jets, but at the same time, I mean, do you want to win all these games? I don't know. I'm at this weird point in the season where I don't love going into a season saying, "Hey, from week 1, let's tank this season," because there's a guy at the top of the jet. I can't stand that
We've
approach.
done that already. We've
tried
done that already.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked the way that it should have worked. I think our counterparts in the AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals, showed us how to do a rebuild correctly.
Yeah.
So, granted the struggles that they may have on the defensive side of the ball or what have you, they were still able to go to a Super Bowl. They were still able to make 2 AFC championship games. While we have one playoff win in 30 years. 30 years.
Yeah, you can go all the way back to before they left. And yeah, I mean, the last time I can really remember rooting for a Browns team that I thought had a chance to win, things like the drive and the fumble were happening. And that's a long time ago, TK. I mean, we're almost into the black and white days there. Like that's barely in color. Whatever. Whatever. They'll figure it out one day, won't they? Will they? I don't know.
I would hope so. I would hope that we get this issue fixed before we move into the new stadium. Uh, I really don't want to even want to think about that stadium right now, especially with
No. I think that's so far in the future. Both literally in the future, calendar wise, and figuratively in the future, because we don't know what kind of roster we're even going to be looking at that time. Who knows who'll be the starting quarterback and how many will have been through by then? 45, 46, 50? I mean, who knows? Who has any idea?
It'll probably be close to 50.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the special. Maybe for the first start, the first home game in that new stadium, it'll be the 50th Browns starting quarterback, and that'll be the final magic number that they I don't know, maybe not. That's pretty depressing. Either way, like I said, they figured it out for a little bit on Sunday. For a few hours on Sunday, they had something. 31-6. Defense played well. They got a pick six. Pick six out of the new guy, right? That was kind of fun to see.
Yep.
What else happened? I mean, they finally ran the ball a little bit. Quinshawn Judkins had 25 carries, only 84 yards, but 3 touchdowns. I'll take that all day. I'll take touchdowns over 100, 125 yards rushing. That's fine with me.
Absolutely.
People have been, and I'm one of them. I think people have kind of dumped on Jalen Hurts a little bit. And I made a joke about the Eagles running the tush push every play until they got the passing game figured out. And then I feel like Jalen Hurts must have heard me say that because he went out and put up a perfect passer rating in their game on Sunday. So, whatever. Right? Yeah, he looked really good. And I get it. It's the Vikings, whatever. But you know what? The Vikings have a guy, the defensive coordinator who's usually pretty good at stopping teams. So, to put up a perfect passer rating against the Brian Flores-led defense, I thought was pretty impressive out of them. There's something about the Vikings stadium that visually reminds me of watching a game in London. And I thought, it crossed my mind, like, am I going to be that crazy Browns fan? I was like, well, that's why they had the advantage over the Browns. I mean, it's just like playing at home. It looks like, for some reason, like the visuals are the same. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't want to be that Browns fan. So let's not do that. But
a lot of really good lighting in US Bank Stadium. A lot. I think the way that stadium is constructed, a lot of glass reflecting onto the field, and especially when the sun shines. So that could definitely lead into that. So yeah.
That's what I always liked about Ford Field. I think they overdid it in Dallas a little bit with the sunshine. If you've ever seen that, we've got that whole wall of glass where when the sun's at that right point of the day, it's like you can't see anything on the field. It just goes right through. That's kind of a mess. But Jerry Jones is smarter than everyone and knows everything. So what are you going to do? It may not be true. Anyway, any other takeaways? I mean, nothing really crazy in receiving numbers. Like I said, I mean, Gabriel threw for just 116 yards. It's not like he lit the day up or anything. But any other takeaways at all? I mean, how did you see anyone that stood out to you on defense? Anything else that the Browns can build on going forward, or is this just a win over a really bad football team?
Other than the obvious fact that this is a win over an atrocious football team, I definitely love the way that Mason Graham played yesterday. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about how he's been playing lately. That dreaded B word has also been flying around that we don't like to use too early before we know exactly what we're getting out of a player. But he looked excellent Sunday. Pushed the pocket consistently, was very strong in the run game. Granted, Devon Achane did what he could against our defense. He had 82 yards on 13 carries, also had a few receptions as well. You're not going to stop that kid. He's extremely talented. He has world-class speed. He hits the hole extremely hard. Has great vision as well. So, we did what we could with him. Granted, he looked really good at times, but we were able to contain him for the most part. And also an excellent game from Grant Delpit, flying everywhere around the field. Made a pass deflection late in the third quarter. Was also very good in run support. Not to mention he had the big forced fumble on Dwayne Eskridge as he was returning the kick from Miami, and they were able to recover it in plus territory and ended up scoring later on. So those two guys in particular were excellent on Sunday.
Yeah, it was nice to see the Browns offense and defense turning those turnovers into points. Dolphins quarterbacks had a little bit of trouble holding on to the football on Sunday. I know it was, pretty rainy and wet, but I mean, a lot of fumbles between Tua, and we saw a little bit of Quinn Ewers as well. They made the quarterback change. And speaking of quarterback changes, there's another team the Browns have up on the schedule. We just talked about the winless Jets. They made a quarterback change. They went to Tyrod Taylor over Justin Fields. Now, is that a permanent thing going forward? Is Tyrod Taylor the starter now? I mean, is that what we're looking at in New York or no?
I think the best thing for the New York Jets would be to go ahead and run with Tyrod Taylor as their starter. I don't know what exactly the brain trust focus is for the rest of the season. Do they want to tank and possibly get the number 1 overall pick and take Indiana University's Fernando Mendoza? I think that may be the idea that's going on around the organization. But if they want to win any games or establish any type of culture for this Aaron Glenn-led coaching staff and team moving forward, I think they would at least try to win at least a couple of games. So it would make a lot of sense to put Tyrod Taylor in, make him the starter, even though he was pretty bad against the Panthers. The Panthers having an improving young defense. J.C. Horn is one of the best corners in the game, and he single-handedly took over that game in the second half with 2 huge interceptions, both in the red zone as the Jets were trying to put points on the board. But I still think Tyrod Taylor gives the Jets the best chance to possibly win, and obviously to move the football. Justin Fields hangs onto the ball entirely too long. He's putting up rookie sack numbers. As far as I'm concerned, there were a couple games where he had more than 7 sacks. I remember the 9-sack game that he suffered out in London versus Denver. So, yeah, you just need a guy that's going to be in there to get the ball out on time, doesn't take unnecessary sacks. You have decent weapons that you can get the football to. Garrett Wilson is also obviously a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah,
Mason Taylor is an intriguing young tight end. Josh Reynolds and Alan Lazard aren't necessarily top-tier guys, but they have been decent role players in the past and could serve as such if given the opportunity. So, we might be looking at Tyrod Taylor as the starting quarterback when we go to visit them week 10.
Yeah, listen, this really kind of felt like Justin Fields' last shot to be a starter in the NFL, or at least to get a legitimate shot. I mean, he may end up somewhere else where he's in a quarterback battle, but I don't think anybody's really going to look at him the same. It's hard to seriously take a look at him as a starting quarterback in the league anymore. And
that kid
I
has
hate to
got
say
to
that.
learn how to read a defense, man. It just hasn't
well, listen,
gotten
TK,
any
if
better.
it hasn't happened by now in season 6? Are we in season 6 for Justin Fields?
No, this is his 5th year.
30?
He was
40?
in the 2021 draft.
2021. Okay, so I mean, I just feel like maybe not 20 or 30. It's not Tom Brady, but obviously it's not Tom Brady. But I just feel like if it hasn't happened by now, I don't like to give up on guys, man. But TK, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen. I mean, like you said, he hangs on to the ball too long. And one thing that he was decent at Ohio State was scrambling enough, and he ran. Obviously, he's a great runner, but he also was good at scrambling within the pocket and kind of moving to create throwing angles. And it feels like he's lost all touch of that. He hasn't been able to do that really at all since he's been in the NFL.
Yeah, it kind of hurts me because I honestly thought that when the New York Jets signed him, that it would be kind of a Peaches and Herb dynamic, that it would be reunited with Garrett Wilson, and they'd be able to make some decent music out there in Gotham City.
Should have felt so good.
Started off pretty well against the Steelers, and we just haven't seen any of it since then. It's gradually gotten worse. Granted, the defense has decided to finally wake up and show what they have. 2 consecutive games in which they have allowed only 13 points against pretty decent offenses as well. So at least there's that. But as far as what he's been able to do for this football team, he's gradually gotten worse each and every week. So it makes perfect sense to pull the plug. And I would not be surprised if the Jets would look to move Fields before the trade line and possibly add another quarterback to possibly either back up or supplant Tyrod Taylor in the very near future.
Yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor's been a really, really good backup his whole career. But I don't know. I mean, if you're the Jets, maybe you're comfortable with starting Taylor the rest of the season. I mean, like you said, they're 0-6. They're not, they're not shooting for a playoff spot. They're not trying to fight their way into a wild card. I don't think they even, they're not even going to be too excited to be on the in the hunt graphic. We talk about that a lot here in Cleveland. At least I do. I've talked about it a lot on some of my shows. How it's just nice, at the end of the season when the weather's cold and you might see a little bit of a game where there's like just some spitting snow or some cold sleet or something out there, and they show those little playoff hunt, like in the hunt graphics. And it's nice to see your team's helmet up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just good to see your team. Cleveland, there's Cleveland. Look, they're 5-4, they're 5-5. They're in the hunt, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be a thing this season for Cleveland. Definitely not going to be a thing this year for the Jets. I'd be surprised, really, if the Jets find a way to win a football game. I mean, they look even worse than the Dolphins. So, I mean, like I said, winnable games are on the horizon for the Browns. I am at this weird place again. I don't mean to repeat it, but I just don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not sure. If they go on a little win streak here and finish, 6-11 or whatever, 7-10. Okay, great. They showed some heart. They showed some hustle. They got out there. They got after it. That's going to make some people happy. But when you look at who's available in the draft, where they're available, the 2 first-round picks, Jacksonville playing above their heads right now, not falling off yet. Again, the loss in London on Sunday is one thing. There's still a lot of football left. Who knows which way that'll go? Who knows? They could finish 4-13. We really don't know. But it just terrifies me a little bit to go on a little bit of a winning streak and kind of ruin that draft status. And, then you're talking about maybe, trying to trade the 2 first picks to get up. And who knows? I mean, what would Andrew Berry do? And do you even really trust Andrew Berry with 2 first-round picks? I said I was talking to someone earlier about it, and I'm like, listen, I feel like you could give Andrew Berry 32 first-round picks, and I'm pretty confident he'd miss on about 24 to 26 of them. And that's not where I want to be going into having two first-round picks right now. That's not where I want to feel, but that's how I feel. What do you think?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm not. You guys know that I'm not really into the early draft talk.
Yeah.
We do it every season. I'm not really too concerned about where we're going to pick, because I definitely think the higher that we go, it's either going to be a quarterback or us ending up trading down anyhow. Yeah. So I would rather just try to see if you can salvage the season. If you win against New England this Sunday, you may have a chance. You're 3-5 going in the bye week. Obviously not the best scenario for you, but at the same time, it could be the best case scenario for us to possibly make some type of run later on in the season. And then obviously, the Jets. I forget exactly who we play after them, but like you said, we do have a couple of winnable games down the stretch. I really don't want to get too into draft stock because I don't want to take any of these quarterbacks. Granted, I do like Fernando Mendoza. Dante Moore isn't bad. Obviously, still think Drew Allen could be a very good player in the NFL one day, despite the injury that he suffered this year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's so many other holes on this roster that need to be filled. I definitely think the first round needs to be focused on offensive line help and possibly getting some receiver help. I was definitely thinking if we were to get a top 5 pick, that could definitely be used on Utah's right tackle, Spencer Fano. And then later on, we could probably look up on a guy like Carnell Tate from Ohio State or Chris Brazell from Tennessee. It's definitely going to be a deep receiver class as well. So, I want to be able to fill up this roster next draft. And I don't want to necessarily go into the possibility of potentially screwing up another quarterback with a high pick.
That's fair. Listen, if the Browns are going to take a receiver, I don't want to take a 3rd-round project guy again. Don't you? I mean, I don't know. Aren't you getting tired of doing this? Like, I just go get the guy. Like, why are the Browns so averse to taking that wide receiver 1? It's like they try to take a wide receiver 4.6 and develop him into a wide receiver 1.8. There's so it
never works. It never works.
It's the D Podesta connection, right? It's like, well, let's not take wide receiver 1 because what if he turns into wide receiver 2? Let's take a wide receiver 4, try to turn him into a wide receiver 2, and every single time the guy develops into a wide receiver 8, and they're out of here and they retire early. David Bell, whatever. I know that was an injury thing, but it's this constant stream of like these mid-round guys that they try to turn into premier receivers. And listen, there's a reason that these guys are coming into the draft with 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round draft grades. I mean, there's a reason they're there. There's a reason that they're available in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds. I get it. The Browns have a lot of holes. And if you're a team with 1 first-round pick, maybe, you're the Browns right now, you don't go wide receiver. Maybe you have to go offensive line out of necessity because, again, financially, just contract-wise, we've talked about the offensive line is It's a hole, right? It's an albatross. They're in trouble next year. They're in trouble going forward with this offensive line. So I feel like with that first pick in the draft, you do have to go offensive line. You hope it's top 5. You hoped it was going to be top 5 from Jacksonville and, somewhere in the middle first round because the Browns had a decent season. But now, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be upset with 3 and 14 and the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft. I don't know. I know you don't like it, TK, but I don't know. I feel like that's where we're at right now. And by the way, I wanted to. Where are we? I thought I pulled up the schedule somewhere. Where is it? Thought I had it. Well, the Patriots are next, so that's gonna be a tough game. Out in Foxborough, that's gonna be a tough place to play. Then they've got the Jets at home. That should be a very winnable game. I'll probably actually pick them to win that game, TK. Who knows? We'll see. You've got the bye week, and then you've got the what else have you got? Who are we at? Where are we at? November 16th. Ravens. Yeah, Ravens, Raiders. You've got the Niners left. I don't know about that game. I mean, the Ravens, if Lamar's there, probably a tough game. If he's not, possibly a winnable game. I don't know. The Bills.
I think if the defense shows up and we don't turn the ball over or play as horribly on offense as we did in week 2, we might have a chance to win that game.
Okay.
We might have a chance to win the game. And we're at home, so we might have a chance to win it.
Yeah, anything can happen at home. I mean, they clearly play. They play much better at home.
Light is better at home.
Yeah, it's really weird that the defense plays so much better at home. But whatever, like you said,
that's so weird. People hate this city so much, but you guys really do like to show out when you're playing in front of us.
For sure.
But people hate the city, though. I don't get it.
Well, it's hard to attract. It's hard to attract free agents to a city where, not only are the winners rough, but there's really only, a couple of teams in town that you think of as having a legitimate shot to win a title. And, one of those teams, we're just going to switch gears real quick. One of those teams actually starts not tomorrow night when the rest of the NBA starts, not the rest of the NBA, but when the season actually starts in the NBA. Tomorrow night's opening night, but the Cavs will start Wednesday night, right? They're on the road, I believe, at Madison Square Garden playing the Knicks. Yep. Is that right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, what an opener, right? I mean, you might as well go up against the team that ended your season a couple of years ago. I feel like if you're going to play any regular season games in the NBA, they might as well mean something right off the rip, because sometimes I feel like we could really reduce that NBA regular season to 40 games and almost no one would notice. And I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I feel like the regular season drags on so long. And sometimes I think you can even see it in the way these guys play, right? Like all the load management stuff, like guys are always wanting to sit out. The NBA said, we can't do that anymore. Not allowed to do that. So now you got guys going down with, it's really easy to say you have a hamstring, a calf, an ankle, a foot, whatever, a migraine. I don't know, whatever. I mean, whatever they say now, that a back that keeps him out, sciatica. LeBron's missing, the first couple of weeks of the season with sciatica now, which is, I think, how you officially know that you're getting a little bit older. Not to throw stones, because we've never seen anyone be this effective. Yeah, we've never seen anyone be this effective at this age. Listen, I saw Jordan with the Wizards at the end of his career. It didn't look like this. It didn't look like LeBron, with the Lakers. But I don't know. I'm looking at the roster. I mean, how do you feel about the Cavs this year? I mean, does Evan Mobley need to take that next? I mean, he's taken a couple steps. I'm not going to lie. He was better last year, right? I thought he played better. Does it need to be his team? I mean, is it like, is he even really the kind of guy that would take charge and make it his team? Or I don't know. Is it like this weird thing with Donovan Mitchell where it's like not quite Mobley's team yet? Mitchell hasn't given it up. I mean, are we in a transitional phase, or where are the Cavs? I'm just confused about where they are right
now. I typically hate questions like these. Not necessarily your fault, but I do understand where it comes from. For this to be Evan Mobley's team, I definitely think that there's still a bit of things that he needs to do. Donovan Mitchell is still kind of the unquestioned leader here. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there can be a 1A and a 1B. And with the injury to Darius Garland for the start of the season, he's going to miss quite a few games, rehabbing that toe from the surgery that he had this offseason. So there's going to be a need for a 1B, and Evan Mobley can very easily be that if he decides to. I definitely think we were talking earlier about how he would probably function in like a triangle offense because he has the ability to handle the ball and pull up and do other things on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't have to just be on the block to get the ball. He can move around. He's very agile. Obviously, a very good defender as well. I believe he won Defensive Player of the Year at one point. I don't remember what year that was. But I definitely think if he continues to improve that jump shot, definitely made a valiant effort to improve his 3-point shooting. He can easily be a 22 to 25 point per game scorer. Obviously, you want him to get those rebound numbers up a little bit better. 7-8 rebounds a game isn't bad. You want him more in that 10 to 12 range if you can get it there. Keep the shot blocks at a premium, and obviously be that 1B to Donovan Mitchell's 1A. Especially for these first few months that Darius Garland is going to be out. And speaking of Darius Garland being out, his new backup, Lonzo Ball, who I am excited to see here in Cleveland, he's definitely going to be the first option to start. The Cavs don't plan on playing him on back-to-backs just yet, but given the circumstances of the season and how Ball plays, obviously going to see how he feels, how his health's going, and, as the season progresses, that may change. But I do expect them to take it fairly easy with Lonzo. Don't expect more than 25 games from the young man, but I do expect some of that flair and some of that pop that he brought, regardless of which team that he was on, or whether it was with the Lakers, the Bulls, or the New Orleans Pelicans. He's definitely going to bring some excitement. He's going to share the basketball. The offense is going to look crisp. It's going to look clean. I definitely think players like DeAndre Hunter and Jared Allen are going to have solid starts to the season as well. You also got to think Max Strus, one of our key reserves, is going to be out with a foot injury for quite some time. He's expected to miss a couple of months. So the depth of this team is going to be challenged a little bit early on, but I do think as the season goes on, we'll get to see a more complete, healthier version of this team. And we're probably going to be surprised. I definitely think this team is capable of winning 55 or more games. But don't be surprised if we get off to a slow start to start the season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to want to, panic a little bit if they do. And like I said, a lot of injuries to start the season, just people out recovering from different things, different ailments. And I think sometimes in the NBA, that's almost better because you want to kind of be hitting your stride around April, May. Like you want to be really like getting into that groove right about that time. Like, it's cool to start out really well. I mean, the Cavs have done that before, right? Like we've seen them start out really, really hot. It didn't really equate to any kind of success in the playoffs, right? It didn't do anything. 2 early exits in a row now, right? Teams that they probably were more talented than should have beaten, the Knicks and the Pacers, right? Boy, I didn't think the Pacers were just going to bully. I just didn't think that was going to happen. Like, I didn't think that series was going to go down like that, but it did.
I honestly think we fell asleep on the Pacers. We didn't really understand or know exactly how good some of the players were on the team. Obviously, you knew Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, Miles Turner to an extent as well. We did not know how good Aaron Nesmith was going to be. We did not know how valuable Andrew Nembhard is to their team. We forgot exactly how valuable TJ McConnell was. Also forgot that he was a starting point guard in the NBA at some point in time with the Philadelphia 76ers before they got Ben Simmons. So to have him be able to come off the bench and back up Tyrese Halliburton in key minutes, he was absolutely sensational in the NBA Finals. I definitely think that he is a starting point guard in the NBA, but the Pacers would be absolutely asinine beyond belief if they were to let him walk out of the door.
He was part of that process in Philadelphia, right? Remember, trust the process. He was part of the process.
I absolutely remember those Sixers. I remember the horrible rosters they used to throw out there. I remember Sam Hinkie having to hide shortly after draft day because he had drafted another center. Oh, this is the 3rd year in a row that the Indians has drafted another damn center. What do you know? So that was definitely a dark time in Philadelphia 76ers basketball history. But they did get out of it. Still not where they wanted to be, obviously. But at least they're not losing 60, 70 games a year anymore. So
seriously. I mean, I look at this roster and it's interesting. You brought up Lonzo Ball. I think he's just a really intriguing guy. 6'5", a lot of depth, or not a lot of depth, but a lot of height, a lot of length. Right? He can guard a few different positions on the floor defensively. I think he does a good job of something that they don't really necessarily have. A lot of times on the floor, it's just a guy who can keep his head up and distribute the ball. I think that's going to be good. But then, like you said, I mean, his load is probably going to be severely managed. So it's not like he's going to be out there playing, we're not going to see him play 80 games this season. That's not going to happen. Strus is out, like you said. You got Darius Garland out. It does feel like they're going to – I'm not going to say they're going to struggle because this is a talented roster, but it does feel like they may get off to one of those starts where you're like, wow, is this team – are they ready to go? They're going to – and people are going to panic, but – you just have to remember to be patient. It's a long season. It's not as long as the Major League Baseball season, but it's 82 games. I mean,
it's close.
We're here. Yeah, we're here until April or May. I mean, there's no reason to get too excited and to panic at first. You just got to give them some time to gel. Give them time to come together as a roster. We know they're well coached, right? We know that's not going to be an issue. We know the pieces are there. We know that they can play some defense. They can go out and do some things on any given night. They may not look super motivated to begin the season. I don't know. Everybody's excited, I think, to play on opening night, and the first couple of weeks of the season are fun. But I mean, listen, it's Northeast Ohio. It gets cold quick. It turns into a grind really, really quickly up here. And don't be surprised if, like you said, they're capable of winning 55, maybe 60 games. But don't be surprised if you see them finish 52 and 30. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. And I think sometimes in the NBA, people get wrapped up in we got to be the 1 or the 2 seed in the playoffs to do anything. I really don't think that you do. I don't think that matters as much anymore. I mean, yeah, home court advantage is nice throughout the playoffs, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I think you're going to have to go into somebody else's building and win at some point to win a series. So whether it's game 1, game 2, game 3, whatever it is, I think you're going to have to do it. I don't think it matters as much as a lot of people. It's just not worth as much as people think it is. They're a pretty young roster. I mean, I'm looking at the experience. They've got a couple, Larry Nance. Wow. How has Larry Nance Jr. been in the league 10 years? How's that possible? How is that even possible?
Yesterday, he was just playing for the Lakers.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't feel right, does it? I'm looking at this. I'm like, is that right? Even Lonzo Ball, 8 years. I don't know, but they've got some guys. They've got a good mix of veterans, and they're, Donovan Mitchell's been almost a decade in the league now, and I don't know. It really feels like this team has to take that next step forward, and I don't know that step is necessarily getting to the NBA Finals, but it really feels like they've got to get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year for it to be called a success, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, without doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, it may all come down to matchups, Sometimes you catch the wrong team at the wrong time. The Pacers were hungry last year. The Pacers were young and hungry. They were on fire. And
speaking of the Pacers, you got to think it's like with the injury to Tyrese Halliburton and obviously with the injury to Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics, the East is kind of wide open this year. Teams have definitely moved around some pieces. There are a couple of teams that I definitely think have surprised people. I think the Charlotte Hornets are on the upswing. They had a wonderful draft this offseason, a decent free agency period. They ended up getting Colin Sexton. They brought back Mason Plumlee. Still got to figure out who that center is going to be out in Charlotte. You're going to have a 3-way center battle between second-round draft pick Ryan Kalkbrenner, Moussa Diabate, and Mason Plumlee, obviously. Once they figure out what's going to happen at the center position, I think they'll be all set. Orlando is getting healthy again. Jalen Suggs will return. Wendell Carter will return. Hopefully these young men are up to stuff and definitely 100% healthy. That could definitely help. They are definitely a feisty bunch that continues to get better under the leadership of Jamal Mosley. Obviously, the Chicago Bulls are interesting. I definitely think they could be in contention for those last 3 spots out in the East. There's definitely a lot of things that could happen in the Eastern Conference this year, especially with the injuries to some of these superstar players. And I definitely think we should contend for the top spot. But like you said, if we don't get it, doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
No, it doesn't. And if they get off to a slow start, it's gonna be okay. They're gonna recover. It kind of feels like, honestly, this Cavs opening night game, in Madison Square Garden, it feels like we could be watching this, toward the end of the year with some major implications, right? Maybe Eastern Conference Final preview. I know it's only one game, but I feel like it could be a fun series later on in the year. We'll have to see. I mean, it all depends on who stays healthy, who, sometimes you got to make the right move at the deadline and bring the right guy in. I feel like it matters more a little bit, right, in basketball than it can in baseball or football. I mean, you've got 5 guys on the floor. You bring the right guy and put the right guy chemistry-wise and, basketball-wise, fit-wise. You get the right guy out there, and it can make a huge difference. So we haven't really seen the Cavs be too overly, active at the deadline. And I don't know. I feel like I'm excited to get the season started. I can't believe it's October already, man. It's almost November. I mean, we're at the end of October. It's the 20th of October. Like, it's crazy. Somehow, as miserable as the football season has been, it's gone fast.
Definitely has.
Quick. So, we'll see. That's where we are right now. So yeah, I don't know. The Browns win a game. The Browns beat the Dolphins. They're off to the Super Bowl now, right? I mean, that's inevitable. They're going to finish, 12-5 now and go to the Super Bowl. We know that. We can say what we want. It's our show. It's fun. Yeah, but the 31-6 win was good. So that was a good from the weekend. Was there anything other than that? I mean, anything this weekend you saw that left you with a bad taste in your mouth, sports-wise? Anything else you want to get off your chest before we get out of here? I feel like we need to vent about something every once in a while on this show, right? It's called Legal Formation Reacts for a reason. Like, let's vent about. So, anything you want to vent about?
Not really too much to be upset about this week. Like I said, I definitely think the game plan was executed about as well as you could execute it.
Yeah.
Granted, Q didn't have the yards total that we would have liked him to have. You kind of figured that, even though Miami is having problems personnel-wise on both sides of the ball, you got to think they had to have wised up at some point in time and thought, hey, Cleveland wants to run the football. This wide receiving core does not scare us at all. Neither do the tight ends, neither does the quarterback. Nothing on this offense gives us any of a reason to give a damn whatsoever. So they're going to give the ball to 10 early and often. So we got to figure to be able to stop this kid. And other than the 46-yard touchdown run that Q had in the first half, he didn't really do much. If you think about the stats, that's after the 46-yard run, he had 24 carries for 38 yards. Yeah. So, Miami did a pretty decent job on him, but at the same time, he was able to get timely carries. He got the first down yardage when we needed it. Some plays just he still had a number of decent chunk runs, chunks like 7 or 8 yards, 10 or 12 yards here or there. But for the most part, he was contained by a pretty lackluster defense. But I mean, after a while, it's like, okay, it's raining, it's wet, it's extremely windy. They're not going to throw the ball. Dylan Gabriel, as cerebral as he may be, he may have some talent that we don't know about just yet. He's not going to throw the ball max amount of times in the middle of a monsoon. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. So I definitely give them credit for what they were able to do against our running attack. But we were still able to run the ball. We didn't fear them at all. We stuck to our guns. We were able to do what we needed to do. You took care of the football. This might be our second consecutive game without a turnover. We need more of those. We need more of those. And we were actually able to make it count this Sunday, which, hey, again, like I said, not much to complain about this week. But this Sunday is going to be the real test. You got the AFC East leading New England Patriots
5-2.
So,
hey, I told you. I felt like. I mean, a lot of people said that. Not like I'm the only one that said it, but I felt like they were going to put it together eventually, right? I did feel like they were going to put it together. There are a lot of teams I don't feel like are going to put anything together. The Jets are one of them. The Raiders are falling off. I mean, Geno Smith has really fallen off a cliff. I don't really know.
He stinks now.
I don't know what
I'm
to say.
still disappointed in him. He stinks so bad.
Yeah, those are 2 games the Browns should win. I mean, you're looking at least 4 wins on the season. It feels really bad to say that, but ideally you'd like to say, hey, 9 or 10, maybe we can get to 12, but we're at 2 right now. Maybe we can get to 5. I mean, that's where we're looking. Really, one quick question I wanted to ask you. I saw that This was an interesting story out of Dayton. Okay, so there's a high school wide receiver, Jameer Brown, who's committed to Ohio State. He's the number 2, I think, wide receiver. Well, it looks like it depends on which, recruiting, whatever, whichever company you look at, 24/7 or 247 or, Rivals or ESPN, whatever. But anyway, he's widely regarded as one of the top receivers in the country. He's the top player in Ohio. He's somewhere between a top 5 and top 12 recruit overall, Jameer Brown. He and his family sued the OHSAA because his family says that he has received NIL offers in excess of $100,000, right? NIL deals were previously not allowed for high school athletes in Ohio. 41 states plus the District of Columbia currently allow NIL deals. And now, because of a judge's ruling, because of a temporary ruling for 45 days, the OHSAA is not allowed to enforce those rules. So I don't know exactly what that means. I guess if that means you're a senior and your last sport is a fall sport, you sign the NIL deals, because for 45 days, I mean, you're probably talking about pretty much you're going to be through the end of your season, right? So you sign the NIL deals, you get the money while you can. TK, how do you feel about high school athletes making NIL deals and making this kind of money? I mean, is that good? Is that bad? Are you indifferent? How do you feel about that?
To be quite honest, if people want to pay these kids money to play sports, I really don't see any issue with it at all.
Okay.
It's not like these kids are laundering or trying to, scam their way into these dollars. They are putting a product out on the field, and if you just so happen to want to pay for said product, who am I to tell you no? I definitely think this is very strange that a kid is receiving NIL money in high school, but at the same time, I don't care because he's going to get even more once he goes to college. So, you want to pay him right now, go ahead, get a head start. He's going to be making millions next year. So I honestly don't give a damn. And I'm not one of these people that says education is payment enough. That's bullshit, because I know a bunch of dummies that make more money than anybody with a degree right now, and it's becoming more commonplace. Not saying don't go to school, not saying that at all. I'm just saying, there's a lot of goof troops out here with some dollars on them. So,
I think it's up to the individual, right? School's not for everybody.
Right, exactly. Miss me with all that. So if they want to go ahead and pay this young man, you go right ahead. You leave that young man alone. You let him continue to strive for greatness.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for 1 minute on you, though. I'm going to play devil's advocate for 1 minute, because what's stopping, the alumni from places like St. Ignatius or St. Edwards or Cincinnati Moeller or these big private schools, these football factories already, right? That churn out. It seems like they already have a lot of money coming in, right? They seem to churn out these high profile alumni who go on to high profile jobs, who then make high profile money. What's keeping these private schools from pulling the money? And basically, you already have like the whispers of these schools recruiting guys, right? Away from public schools. So now you've got legal NIL cash, and now you're pulling these guys away from public schools even more. A lot of people think that's a problem. I mean, is that a problem? And that I think that could be an issue. No?
No? Not at all. Not at all. It's all about competition at the end of the day. If you were able to nab a certain athlete away from a school, granted, whether they don't have a program or their program isn't anything to write home about, and you can bring that kid into your program, hey, do what you got to do. To be honest, I still think it's kind of strange, the whole NIL thing hitting high school. At the same time, I am all for it. I know these kids are broke and they're working hard to get a better future. And sometimes the grind can be a little bit long-winded. And so, if these boosters feel like spending that extra cash, because they do it anyway. They do it anyway. A lot of these private universities, they try that holier than thou crap with everybody. It's not going to work with everybody. It definitely ain't going to work with me. I know you guys pay those kids. If they're good enough, and they're going to be successful enough, and you have that keen feeling that they're going to be great at the next level, you're going to slide them a few dollars. I've seen it happen. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but at the same time, it's like, listen, you want to pay these kids for being performers out there on the field, you go right ahead and do it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't want to stand in the way of anybody and them getting their money. I think if someone wants to, I don't know if there's maybe a jealousy thing. I mean, listen, if someone wants to offer somebody money and pay them, like you said, what do I care? It doesn't affect me either way. I sometimes wonder about some of the public schools that are going to say, well, hey, we don't have these high profile alumni. We can't pay. Do you keep it to a business only thing? It's like, do they, is it like endorsement deals only?
Yep.
Do they have to filter it through a certain, I think there's just a lot of rules and a lot of, what do I want to say? A lot of regulations that are coming with NIL in the future that really aren't here yet. Obviously, it's the Wild West right now. So you can do anything right now.
Right. I just think
You can literally have, Dave from the pool hall just give you a bag of $100,000 and that's an NIL deal. That's fine right now. I don't think it's always going to be like that, but we'll see.
Right. I just think a lot of public universities need to just realize that, hey, our school sucks. None of our
Well,
athletes.
I mean, even high schools. I'm not even talking about college, man. I'm talking about high schools.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And we could say those high schools stink too, because there are a lot of rough shot high school football programs that don't get off the ground ever, and maybe some kid wants an opportunity somewhere else. Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go ahead. It's only going to be more beneficial for him in the future.
Yeah, I mean, right now there are 708 schools in Ohio that play 11-on-11 football. I'm interested to see when NIL becomes a thing, if it becomes a permanent thing in Ohio, if that number changes at all, if that goes down, if you see some programs that just go, hey, we can't even afford to have a football team anymore because we had 30 guys on the roster and 18 of them transferred to a bigger school with better NIL opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's going to be a thing that affects that at all.
You got to think out of the 708 schools that do play high school football here in the state, about 580 of them suck anyway. So,
okay. Okay.
There's no real point in this,
Yeah. All right. I see you. All right. Fair enough. Well, I think we're going to get out of here. I think that's all we got. TK says 500 of you guys stink. So what are you going to do about that? You got to prove them wrong. You got 1 week. So go out there and I don't know, I guess qualify for a playoff spot and prove TK wrong. Go win a state championship. We will be back. TK and I will be hopefully Saturday morning on Illegal Formation. And then we'll for sure see you Sunday on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show. I forgot to mention to you, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. I did mean to say that as we got going. I was so excited to start tonight that I forgot to say that. So as always, we'll see you Sunday morning before kickoff. We'll see you a couple hours before kickoff, and we'll make sure to get out, in time to give you a chance to think about some things that maybe Ryan has said on the commissioner's couch this week on this week's episode. So you can take a look at your fantasy rosters and make sure you're all in line there. And while you're at it, as always, check out the Inside Edge Network we've got the Inside Edge Funeral March Browns post. It wasn't a funeral march yesterday, though. The post-game show was probably a lot of fun yesterday if we did that yesterday. I'm not even sure what happened. But as always, you've got the main event with Robert Zicki, Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. We're going to talk about all your wrestling stuff. You're going to, you're going to get all your information there. You've got Jersey Chasers, the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. You've got more wrestling there. You've got, the main event is pretty much everything, by the way. I should limit that to wrestling. The main event's pretty much everything. And just so many other shows. Real Talk with Papa Moon. Stop in for a quick mental health checkup. Sometimes, again, like I said, it's just good to see somebody else that's going through the same struggles you are. Sometimes there's strength in numbers when it comes to that kind of thing. So if you are struggling with anything, please, don't be ashamed to go get help. It's not shameful to talk with someone and to ask for a little bit of help with that. So I think that show is going to be good to remind you that people do struggle from time to time. It happens. It happens to the best of us, man. So don't be ashamed of that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But like I said, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate you watching us. We're always here on the Inside Edge Network. As always, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. For my buddy TK Dandridge, I'm Chad Bryan. We'll see you guys next time.